Hello.
Hi.
Ahoy! Test the microphone. I think it's working.
I gotta find some headphones, I think.
Hello, we're just setting up. We're waiting on Jessica and Carly now.
Oh, okay, cool.
Hey, Mary.
Hello. Let me like run around and grab some crap.
That's
What do you see of my weird apartment? A bunch of crap, I suppose. Alright. What? No. How's it going?
Pretty good. How have you been?
Good. Oh, all right. Whatever. What about
Staying
you?
busy. Pretty good. Just staying busy.
Oh man, yeah. Tell me about
Traveling
it.
and yeah, it's nuts, isn't it?
Traveling. Where have you gone?
Well, so I used to live in Seattle, and I usually travel around Ohio, like around the Columbus area for work and stuff. So, and I have to update my passport because my manager wants me to go to Canada and possibly SoCal and a couple other places to look at some design stuff. So,
That's really cool.
yeah. So, how about you?
Man, I don't know. I work a lot.
Yeah.
I don't know. I've been working at Disney for almost 3 years now, which is a little
Wow.
crazy.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it'll be 3 years on March 19th.
Dang. That's pretty cool.
Yeah,
How do you like it?
it's cool. I like it.
So are you in California?
Yeah, I'm in Burbank, well, Los Angeles area.
LA? Okay. I was gonna say my fiance and I went to LA and I was like, oh my gosh, I know there are some people here, but I didn't know who all was there. But
Yeah.
it's a really cool area. Like it's really awesome there.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. There's some stuff about it that's cool, and there's some stuff about it that's stupid. Like traffic is so stupid.
I was just gonna say I absolutely despise the drivers in LA. That
man.
drove me nuts. I mean, you can imagine, like, Ohio, we're aggressive drivers. There, it's a little different.
And everybody like hangs out in Ohio when they drive. They're just like, like take your time, like I don't know. I feel like it's like next level shit in LA.
Right.
And like we had the day off of work today because of President's Day, and I forgot, and I was like, I forgot that it was Monday, and I was like, let's see, I'll drive back, like to like home around 4:30. That'll be fine, like whatever. And then I was like, oh shit, I forgot that it was gonna be rush hour because it's like not everyone had the day off of work today.
Right.
And so I was like, oh damn, I hope I'm on time.
It wouldn't have been so bad for me to get to and from work, but I was driving in the middle of a snowstorm, so.
Oh my god. Yeah. How much snow is there?
In Columbus, it's not bad. It's always like 5 degrees warmer than BG Toledo area.
Right.
We probably have like an inch or two maybe on the ground. We'll probably get another inch or two tonight. But like they close schools so
Right.
quickly.
Right.
I mean, we have lists right now on TV closing schools out for tomorrow, which is
Tomorrow.
fine for me. Yeah. But for what, an inch of snow? But I don't know.
Whatever. Man, I loved living in Columbus. That was like one of my favorite places I lived in Ohio.
Seriously, and living in Seattle and like, I don't know. I love there's just so much to do, I guess, and you get to see all 4 seasons, and
It's like everything that's great about Ohio and nothing that sucks about it. That was always my description of Columbus.
Yeah, that's seriously. I mean, I do miss the nerd hub of Seattle and all the gaming companies and stuff there. But at the same time, I don't know. There's just something about the city. I absolutely love it. I'll never move back to Toledo or anything again. But Columbus is cool. I might move to North Carolina. I've been looking at
That's
some
cool.
gaming companies there, but I don't know.
What do
We'll
you
see.
do? I don't actually know what you do.
So I'm a UX designer, so I do wireframe design and graphics and logos, and I also do 3D modeling for an engineering company in Gahanna.
Huh.
And and I'll probably end up saying this again later, I'm sure. But,
Yeah, sorry, I'm asking now.
No, that's right. But they work with utility poles throughout the U.S. and in Canada and Jamaica, and so I actually build them. And I model them, and then I also work on redeveloping their entire software. So I do web and software
That's so cool.
redesign. It's pretty fun. It's actually really cool, and I kind of like, as much as I love doing like environment art and stuff, and because I've been a painter for 16 years, so I love painting and I like doing it on the side and stuff. But I love UX design because it's so organized, and you get to like do programming, and you get to collaborate with clients, and you get to kind of interview them, and you get to create designs, and you get to concept and wireframe, and that's pretty fun.
What is UX design? Like
User experience.
Oh,
So it's
okay.
it's all based on what clients are looking for in software and web applications.
Nice.
But then it's nice because I get to kind of control them and say, no, you're wrong, because these buttons don't look good here, trust me. So
Right.
it's pretty
Man,
fun.
that's like the oh man, that kind of stuff always interested me because like it's almost like the most important part of like workflow or productivity or like why people buy stuff from you is like having this good user experience.
Right.
It's like why do people buy anything on eBay? Well, it's because you took good goddamn pictures and like the checkout button was really obvious.
That's
and it's
right. The way that things are laid out and how people's minds work, it's really kind of cool just to see like, and you kind of it's trial and error, you kind of just
right.
play. You get to play with people's minds and kind of figure out
Like
how do I really make this the best user experience for
Right.
them, but then
Right,
how do
like-
I market it for the company?
right, like what's intuitive, like what makes a tool intuitive or good.
Right.
And like that kind of stuff like is so awesome. Dude, I recently discovered like one of my like recent like best like user experiences has been actually with my embroidery machine. I've just bought an embroidery machine.
Oh,
And I
really?
was like-
Cool.
Yeah, I was like, oh man, because like anytime you like pick up anything sewing, it's like it's always made for like people that think you're stupid, like you're like some old grandma that has never like used Photoshop before. This
Right.
freaking machine has the best user interface I've ever seen for anything.
Oh, good.
Like it's amazing. Like everything's really intuitive. All the buttons make sense. All the settings are like right there. And I've never seen something that was like so simple. Because like how sometimes when people design user experiences for people, especially people who aren't adept at software, they always make it overly simplified. It's like it becomes too simple.
Yeah.
And then it's like advanced users don't get the flexibility that they need.
Yeah.
But this
Yeah,
machine
I
is
understand.
like the pillar of like good like user interface design. I cannot believe that.
Now, can you customize, because it's an embroidery machine, right? Is
Yeah.
it has a digital UI? Like, can you actually reprogram stuff to make it easier for you to use?
Yeah, like it has a lot of the same like I don't know adjustments or features that you would have on a normal sewing machine, but it's like it has like a little digital interface that's just really, I don't know, intuitive and makes sense.
Right.
Hello.
Hi.
Hello?
Hello.
Hi. Is this working?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yep.
Okay.
I had to
that
use
works.
my phone. I couldn't figure out how to sign in on the computer. Yeah, you guys are on my phone. Do I have a good enough resolution here?
Yeah, it's fine. I can see your face. That's really all that matters, right? And your
Yeah.
voice, I can hear you.
Okay, then there you go. There it is.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yeah, it's
Yep.
breaking up a little bit, but yeah.
Okay, good. Sorry. Uh-oh.
Okay, it seems like we're all here now. We were missing a fifth because she got sick, so we kind of already told them a little bit about this. So if you guys want, go ahead and, like I said in the email before, go ahead and introduce yourselves and just like maybe a statement or two to start off. Does that sound good?
Is Jessica okay?
Yeah, can you hear me? I'm up a lot.
Oh, yeah, we can hear you.
Okay.
Can't see you very well.
Can I see it?
You got any more lights?
Yeah, I'm moving a little bit. Hold on.
Just gonna sit down.
Let's see. Is this better? I had to go upstairs away from my daughter. Oh, no, that's even worse. Here. Okay.
It is dramatic.
Well, dramatic lighting, hopefully. That's okay.
No.
Is it alright if I mention?
You can see the outline of it.
We can kind of see your outline.
It's fine.
Yeah, we okay. It'll just be a little. Huh? Oh, turn off the front lights
Turn
here.
them on. That did help.
That did not help.
I'll full screen it too. I don't know if that'll do it.
Well,
So are you guys in that new Wolf Center building?
we are.
Yeah.
I am so jealous. You guys are lucky sons of bitches. I'm serious.
It is really nice.
No.
It's better than being in the
They-
fire.
In the fine arts. Oh, wow. Look at the windows.
It's an interesting design.
You guys actually have lights in there. That's kind of cool. All right.
Wait, what?
The
Our
big
teachers
one.
never seem to want to use them though.
There, I found it.
Okay, so while Jessica's still like rearranging a little
There
bit,
we go.
it's better
There, that's not too bad.
Turn these lights.
compared to lost it again.
Up. Turn.
Oh, she disappeared for a second.
There we go.
Yeah.
There you go. So, like I said, you guys can go ahead and just like briefly talk about what you're doing right now and what you might have done in the past, and then any statements you want to make before we open it up to questions. So we can just go ahead and go down the line of how you guys are up on the Google Hangout. So, Anne, are you all right with going first?
Yeah. So my name is Ann Miller, and I went to BGSU, graduated in '09. And right now I am full-time user experience designer, so I create wireframes, designs, and workflows for software and web applications. Currently I work for an engineering firm in the Columbus area, and I do 3D models of utility poles throughout the US and Jamaica and Canada. And I also am redesigning all of their software applications for those models. So I make sure that everything is laid out well, that the button makes sense, the menus work. I design all the buttons, icons, logos, etc. And then I am also a 3D environment artist and concept artist for an indie gaming company in the Columbus area. And we're currently making a first-person survival horror game based on the old black and white monster movies. I used to work at Microsoft Game Studios as a motion graphics artist and game tester for Gears of War and Fable. And did some other design stuff with insurance companies. I did game design with an insurance company, believe it or not. And yeah, that's pretty much it. I've worked at various industries doing different art and animation things.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Cool.
That's cool.
All right, Jessica.
Hi, my name's Jessica, and I graduated in I think, 2004, a few years ago. I went to grad school after that at Savannah College of Art and Design and got an internship out at Disney. And then I worked at DreamWorks after that, DreamWorks Animations for 7 years. And then I left there, and now I'm teaching at Nomen. So that's actually where I have to go tonight. So, and I teach, and I used to do surfacing or texture artist. So I was a texture artist there.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Okay, Carly.
My name's Carly. I graduated from BG in 2008. Afterwards, I moved to San Francisco and got my master's in computer animation at the Art Institute. After that, I worked in gaming for a little bit as like a generalist. I worked at Zynga and Present Creative, like pretty much the same type of things as Zynga. And but what I really wanted to do was work in film as an animator. So I took the animation mentor class. It was like a VFX, like creatures animation type thing. And then after that, I moved to Montreal and worked on a movie for DVD. And then my current job is at MPC, working on VFX film type animation.
Oh.
Sweet.
Yeah, we don't have as much VFX as I guess we used to, but that'll be interesting to hear about. All right, Mary.
Cool. Hi, my name is Mary Tuhig. I graduated from Bowling Green in 2007. After I graduated, I went to university, and I got a master's degree in digital art and animation. I graduated in 2010, and then I moved to Texas, where I worked at a studio called Real Effects. They just produced a movie called The Book of Life, although I didn't get to work on that. Sad. And then I moved to Los Angeles area. Where's Josh? And I work at Walt Disney Animation Studios. I've worked there for 3 years. I worked on Frozen and Big Hero 6, and I'm working on the next movie that's coming out. And I'm a character TD. And I don't know why Disney calls it character TD, but that basically means I'm in rigging. And I specialize in clothing and hair simulation.
Clothing.
Whoa, okay.
So you cut out for a quick second.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so at this point, we'll go ahead and open up the floor to any questions that the students might have. So just raise your hands, and we'll start picking you out.
Don't y'all raise your hands at once.
You can go ahead and come up here and yeah.
You gotta talk to the camera.
Yeah, we can't see you.
Yeah,
Okay, where's the camera?
it's right there.
Oh, hi.
Hello.
Hi. Oh, get it off my face. Okay. So my question is when you all were students here at BG, and you were putting together your portfolios or what you were going to show future employers, did you like have an idea of what you wanted to have in your portfolio, or did you like go to other sources like employers or recruiters to see what they wanted?
Just gonna talk.
How should we answer?
Just
So I guess from my perspective, because I didn't really know exactly what I wanted to do when I graduated, and I think that's how it is for a lot of people. I mean, you kind of have an idea of, you know, oh, I want to be in film, or oh, I want to be in gaming. For me, you know, I kind of wanted to branch out and do something a little different. So taking animation classes and loving them, I am not an animator. that's not my strong suit. So I tried to show a lot of mixed media as far as, because I've been a painter for about 16 years, so I showed a lot of concept art and environment art, since that's what I like to do. And then I got into freelancing, so if you have any, I know it's hard being in college, but if you have any spare time, doing freelance work or doing internships really helps, because then it makes your portfolio a lot stronger and you have more to show. So it really just depends on what you want to do. Because I didn't know, I kind of threw a lot of different things up there, but you always want to start with your strongest stuff first, and because I loved environment art and concept art, that's what I showed first. So, if there's something you really are passionate about, I would suggest throwing that up there. And you can always tailor your portfolio and your demo reel to certain clients or certain jobs you're applying for. But, you should always have some kind of website or link. Most of the time when I was out, even just hanging out with friends, I would always find somebody that would be like, hey, do you have a portfolio? And they would want to see your website link right then and there. They'd pull up their phone and want to look at your portfolio on their phone. So I would highly suggest having a website to showcase a lot of your stuff too.
Yeah, and definitely I feel like what you said about tailoring your portfolio to the job you're applying for is really, really important. If you look at job applications, they'll have, a list of qualifications and what they want to see, like right there sort of laid out for you. And that's like the one thing about job hunting that I think is really tough, is that you have to, sort of tailor each of your, like, resumes or your portfolio to, like, the type of job you're applying for. I think it's really important because, if you show that you're, it's important to be, like, qualified in a lot of areas, but if you can show that you're, like, the right person for this job, then I think that's, like, really important.
Yeah.
Yeah, and also a lot of jobs you're going to be entry level. So a lot of people, like especially at Noman where I work now, they are all wanting to be character like artists. So they want to, and so their whole reel is just doing characters, like modeling it, texturing it, and all that stuff. But keep telling them that when you get a job as a modeler or a texture artist or whatever, you're not going to jump into the top thing. So you're not going to come in as a character artist necessarily. So you need to show that you're versatile in like everything. So put on your, like one of the things I did on my reel was I showed that I can do environments, like props, characters, like all that kind of thing. But I'm a specialist in like this area. So nowadays they don't just necessarily want a specialist. They want, like if you're going to be doing texturing, they want to know that you can do texturing and model, because they, companies want to get the most out of their like money. So now if you can be good at two things, they like to see that necessarily.
Yeah.
So.
Right.
All right. Thank you.
All right. Who else?
Gotta come on up.
This is, wait, should I move or am I cool here? Because I think, like...
Oh, they can see
They can see you. Just zoom in.
You
I
sit
can
right,
see ya.
sit right here.
I'm
Right
not
here.
going to move then, man. I'm all set. Alright.
Okay.
So, I was just curious, since this is for
Oh, yeah, you're fine. Never mind.
everyone, because it all seems like you guys work under different kinds of companies. What would be draws to working with, like, an independent company, or if they're able to be as steady to work with than, like, an established company? So, I guess, does that make sense?
Yeah. I mean, so I don't mean to depress anybody, but I've lost quite a few jobs. As a designer, it's actually pretty normal to get laid off quite a bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You guys can agree. Yeah, since I graduated, since I've graduated, I've lost a job every year. But I've always been able to get one within like 3 months or so of losing one. And most of the time, you can go on unemployment or something until you can get another job. There's really no such thing as stability nowadays. It's really just about where you feel you're going to grow the most in the company that you're with, or where you feel like you can really make a difference. Like I said, I mean, initially after graduation, I thought I wanted to do film and gaming, and part of me still wants to do gaming. But at the same time, there are so many other industries that are available. It's not just film and gaming. I did game design for an insurance company for Nationwide. It's headquartered in Columbus. And I did video games for 33,000 employees there. And there's just so many different opportunities, so it doesn't really matter whether it's big or small. It's kind of just what position is available, and, you know, is it going to be something that's perfect for you, where you feel you can really grow and learn the most.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. This industry is very hire fire. And not just that, is like you have to move around a lot. Like if you think about it, like looking at everybody on this panel, I think I've been the person that moves around the least, which is really surprising. And you just, a lot of people follow the jobs, and it actually makes it really hard. It's a very young person's industry, and I think the average age is like 30 in the industry, because that's really low. And so, but I guess with your question of like higher or like big or small company, it probably for stability might not matter. I mean, I work for DreamWorks, and you would think they were stable, and yet they laid off like half the company practically just a week ago. And like Disney was the same thing. Now they're doing great, but they were really bad just a couple of years ago. So like, and those were big companies, so like you just don't know. Yeah. But you get perks with big companies. You can get perks, so.
Yeah, I mean, I'd say that the advantage of working for a small company is exposure. Like, because there's less people, you'll be probably won't be like a specialist. You'll be a generalist, so you'll get to learn a lot and do a lot of things. And also a perk of working for a small company is that you get a lot more creative control, again, because there's fewer people, so you kind of have to be in charge of a lot more. At a bigger studio, you will be part of like a bigger team, so that can be advantageous because you'll have a lot of, I don't know, support from the system, maybe is a good way to put it. But yeah, I'd say it's more about like, you know, what's right for you and what you feel comfortable with and what you want to spend your time doing.
Mm-hmm. Oh, and I guess one thing with big companies is that there's a lot of, I don't know, red tape, or not, you don't get the exposure as much.
Oh man, yeah, there's a lot of, yeah.
It's not as easy to get promoted either because there's so many really good people, so you're all fighting to like get the next big thing. You're even fighting to get like characters and environments and things that are like fun to work on and being on the team. But it's not like, yeah.
I mean, if DreamWorks or Pixar or something like that, that's your end goal and that's really where you want to work, then by all means, don't be off-put by saying, oh, well, smaller companies might be better. I mean, it really just depends on what's right for you and where you want to be. Yeah, I mean, like I said, for me, I didn't really know what I want to do, and I'm still sometimes at that point. So I like being able to work with a smaller company and being my own art director. There's no stifled creativity because I get to do what I want.
Yeah, one of my friends works for a small game company, and he really enjoys that freedom. Like, he can say, look, I made this whole thing right here, this whole section. You know, I worked on it for like over a year, but like this is the chunk of the game that I made, you know, and that's really cool. There's a lot of pride in that.
Mm-hmm.
I guess the evolution of the question is then how plausible is it to like gear yourself towards working with independent companies more than larger companies?
How plausible it was? What'd you say? Sorry.
How plausible it is to work towards creating your own independent company or your own creative team. And I know there's a lot of competition in there, but having a focus and being a part of a smaller independent team versus wanting to be a part of like a larger industry.
I don't think I still understand the question. Sorry.
All right. I'll wait.
I think so. What is it? Is like, do you mean like how hard is it, or how more realistic is it to work for an independent versus a large company?
If you're
doing what you want? Or-
More like if you wanted to create your own, if you wanted to start moving towards having your own independent company, basically, and trying to form that yourself.
Got it.
I know it's a hard thing to do, but then is it a much more plausible thing to do currently in like the work environment?
Well, so actually, funny you asked. I have a friend who started his own company, and he's actually in Montreal right now, and he's doing really well, it seems like. So but the thing is, he did work for DreamWorks for 10 years, and I think that did help him have like a name too. And not only did he work for DreamWorks for 10 years, but on top of working, he started his own game company. So he was working for a long, long, long time on the game company and working at DreamWorks to have money. Because like for a long time, you're not going to get paid, and you're just like starting, and it's going to be slow. And then you need finance. So you need to be really good at networking, and you need to be really good at like getting people to invest in your company, basically. So him and his wife really love living in LA, but there's not a lot of money. Like the government doesn't give you as much money. It's really competitive. So he moved to Montreal. They're actually from Montreal, so it worked out. The government gives money to them to start a company. So they did, and they're doing really, really well. But I think he's been working on the game for like 3 or 4 years before this even happened. So.
What's the company he's in?
I'm sorry?
What's his company?
It's called Play Hybrid. So they haven't released anything yet.
Okay.
I don't know when they're going to release it. They keep on saying it's going to be soon and sooner, but they recently have hired a bunch of people, and because they have got money from the government, they actually are required to hit milestones. So instead of just, I think that's the other thing, if you don't actually have milestones you have to meet because you're getting like money from somewhere, then you can just drag it on forever. And that's actually what was kind of happening. But now, because he actually got money, he has to hit those milestones. It looks beautiful, so hopefully it comes out soon. Yeah. But,
and another suggestion too would be if you're thinking of starting your own business or wanting to do freelance and making that a big part of what you want to do on the side or something, or even full time. I totally regret this because I've been ripped off so many times. Take a business course.
Yeah.
Learn about contracts and learn how to learn how to make your own business, because when you're freelancing, especially when you just get out of college, a lot of times you'll go to places like, I don't know, like Craigslist or something, and you want to offer your services. I'm an artist, I just graduated, I want to do this stuff. People will try to take advantage because you are an artist, and so you need to have a contract of your services and what you take care of. So if you're a website designer, how much you charge per hour. If you're a painter, how much you charge based on your supplies and your time. All that stuff plays a big role in whether you're successful or not. And that's the one main thing I regret is not taking a business course when I was in college. I really highly regret that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, my brother has a really similar story. He started his own game company, and like it's always a struggle to get paid by his clients. Always be really upfront about payments. Like, you might want to set a limit on number of like revisions that happens along the way. Payment is always a struggle. It's always a struggle. What you guys were saying before about having to like always have like something that makes you money until you can develop your company or your freelancing enough to fully support yourself with that. So like my brother, like, every 6 months he goes through this cycle like every 6 months where he'll be like, I'm broke, so I'm gonna go get a job and like get paid by somebody else, and I'm tired of being broke and this is crappy. And then like after a while he'll be like, God, I really hate not working on my own stuff, so I'm gonna quit and I'm gonna follow my passion and do my own thing. And then so he goes and he works for himself for like 6 months, and like when his company can get like a contract, him and his friends have a business, their own game studio, and they'll get contracts occasionally. And so then he'll do that, and he'll go through that cycle, and he'll be like, then he'll go be like, I'm broke again. Now I gotta get a real job, and like, so. But he loves it. Like that's what he, loves. He likes that cycle, and he likes making games and doing that sort of stuff. So,
And then kind of just a quick follow-up question for Carly. I was wondering if that kind of like getting laid and then having to find a new job, is that prevalent in the SFX world, in what you're doing right now? Have you ever had that?
OFX is really bad. Like, that's the worst.
VFX.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's pretty much like your contracts by project, because like VFX is a little different because than like a typical film or animation studio, because the company's always working for a client. They're not working on their own stuff. So, like the jobs, our jobs depend on if they get jobs. And so yeah, it's really short contracts, and you kind of have to, for VFX, a lot of it's being sent out of the United States to places like Canada, especially right now. I'm sorry, Jessica mentioned, like the guy going to Montreal for the tax incentives and stuff. So there's a lot of VFX in Canada right now, but that doesn't mean it will always be, because they're going to find a new tax break somewhere else.
Okay.
Yeah, right now, probably the most stable jobs are in game companies and in TV. Animation and VFX are like completely being outsourced, and so, and animation used to be relatively stable because of like what she was talking about being your own makes their own product, so they kind of can set up their own schedule. But like if they still are outsourcing, like DreamWorks has a huge company over in India and in China, and sending a lot of stuff out there. So right now, if you want to have a more stable job, it's game company and TV. They're really huge right now. But at the same time, it's fun to work for, like, my husband has a dream of working for a visual effects company. He's at DreamWorks. That's what he wants to do, because they make amazing games, and it's just fun.
Sorry, you're fading out a little bit.
Sounds like you just went underwater.
Whoops. Can you hear me better now?
Yeah.
Okay.
We got a question from the internet. Katie Justice would like to know if any of the speakers have had any trouble finding or keeping jobs due to reasons such are specific to their gender, such as needing maternity leave if you're planning on having children.
Yeah. I have a daughter, and I got let go while I was on maternity leave. And it actually happens a lot more than you think. Like, telling people, I know a lot of people it's happened to. And again, DreamWorks let go a bunch of people. Actually, one of my friends who's a guy got let go, and he's about to have a kid in like 4 weeks. Another friend of mine who's now got a job right away, luckily, she's a director now at Disney TV. She got let go as they were hiring people in story. She was in the story department, and she has 2 kids. And so, like, as soon as they could, they let her go and hired people right out of school. They let go everybody at PDI, part of DreamWorks Campus. And they did offer a few people to come down to the Glendale office. But the people who had kids or were pregnant, they didn't even offer. You know they're going to say no because they're having a baby, but they didn't even like offer it up. So like having a family and actually being a woman is actually kind of quite hard in this industry. So
yeah, and you'll get asked too during interviews. Technically they're not allowed to ask, but they will ask like, "Oh, so I see you're." Because I just got engaged in April, but before that I didn't have a ring on my finger, so I was like, oh, so, like, any plans in the next 5 years? And I'm just like, no, I'm not going to have any kids. And they go, oh, okay, we were just wondering. I know we're not allowed to ask, but, so, I mean, they'll still ask you. They're not allowed to, but they'll still ask.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know. I've never personally like experienced any of that, but man, that's crazy.
Yeah. That's crazy. It's not the first time it's happened, at least at DreamWorks either. They've had other people that's happened to. And I don't think it's just DreamWorks, and I don't even think it's just the industry. I think it's pretty overall. My sister-in-law has 3 kids, and she was applying for teaching positions, and she was applying at MIT, and they asked her again what was she going to do with her kids, if they were gonna. Not allowed to ask, but they did.
Oh, yeah, that sucks.
Yeah, it
So
sucks.
when they let them go, did they even say like, oh, like, well, they can't say it though, right? They can't say, oh, you're being let go because this. They're just, oh no, we decided to move forward with somebody else.
Well, no. Well, DreamWorks is having mass layoffs, so that's how they hide everything.
Got it.
So, but it's not just. So the thing is, it's not just women. It's older people too. So I think there are laws saying that you can't let go only people over a certain age, but they ride that line. Like you can tell, like they ride the line of like how many people who are over a certain age because they're expensive. And like people like you guys who are coming out of school are very good, like, and you're very up to date on the technology, and so that's what they want. So they'd rather have cheap people who are really motivated and can work like 80 hours a week. So yeah, go industry.
Anyone else have anything to add?
It is fun though.
Okay. Does anybody over here have a question? Okay.
Come on down.
And Jessica, when you need to go, just go ahead and say something. And
Okay.
Okay, my question is, what if you want to like move out of the country and not work in the U.S. in an industry?
Do I want to leave? My husband does. He wants to go to London. He wants to work for motion picture in London or in Weta, New Zealand. But I'd do that first, personally, because as you get older, you want to stay in one spot. You have friends. You want to get established. So if you could do it a certain way, I would try going into visual effects, bebop around the country or the world, following your jobs, following movies, and when you're tired of it, you're going to have an amazing resume.
Yeah.
And try to settle
Yep.
some.
Yep.
Yeah, you've got the right idea if that's what you want, you know. That's what you want. Well, that's what the industry is doing right now, so go do it.
Get out of your, like, I know it's hard for a lot of people who are introverted and, you know, and I was that way for sure, but, like, get out of your comfort zone and go do it because, you know, I'm to the point now where I can't really move because I'm getting married and, I mean, I can't just get up and go, whereas, you know, a few years ago I lived in Seattle. I lived out of my suitcase for 2 months and I got to work in gaming and it was probably one of the best experiences I had. If you're not tied down, get up and go do it. You only get one shot to go do it, and you might as well do it before you get married and settle down.
Yeah, and there's some good opportunities out there too for working abroad. Like I know Australia has the holiday visa, I think it's called. Has anyone else heard of this? It's like a working visa, but you also get to it's kind of like a tourism visa, so you're like there for work and for like to travel. So check out different countries like international work visas and go do it.
Yeah.
Say that again.
I was going to say, if anyone is interested in working in Canada, the really cool thing about the degree that you're going to be getting in digital arts, you can get your own permit to work in Canada. All you need is a letter from your employer. So it took me a long time to figure out actually how to do it, but it's really, really simple. So if anyone's interested, I can send you like a website or something, and there's this awesome website that tells you exactly how to do it, and that's what I did for both of my last 2 jobs working here in Montreal. It's weird because I did like so much research, but it took me so long to figure out how to do it, and it's so simple, but it's not out there that much, and I don't know why. But yeah, it's super simple. You just get a letter from your company and go to the border with your degree, and you can get a permit. And it's very attractive for companies because they don't have to deal with it. They don't have to deal with getting the permit for you, and there's a whole like they have to like prove that they're short of local people in order to bring in people from outside of the country. So with this type of permit, they don't have to do that. You just get it yourself.
And you said you have a link for that, for the website that you found all that information?
Yeah. I can, if anyone's interested, you can just email me, or
If you want to, go ahead and you can go ahead and email that to me after the panel, and then I can send it out to anyone who's interested if that works.
Okay, cool.
Cool.
So I have to probably go, so it's really nice meeting all of you. And yeah, good luck with everything.
All right, thank you so much.
Bye. Bye.
Yeah, we should do one. We'll do that one.
Okay. We have another question from someone who's not here. Chelsea Donovan wanted to know, have any of you ever dealt with sexism in the workplace? And if you have, how did you deal with it?
That's a tough one. Who wants to take it?
I'll take it. Recently, actually, and I dealt with it nicely. No, yeah. Oh yeah, you'll get it quite a bit, and it depends. It depends on where you go. So I've had comments and weird gifts sent to me. And you just I'll give you an example. At Microsoft, I was one of 5 women in a team of 300 people, and I was one of 3 animators, and then the rest we did game design on the side, or game testing. I'm sorry, on the side, and it's the same with the job I have now, which actually recently happened. So I'm a bit of a brute, and I'm a pretty tough chick, but you want to handle every situation with professionalism. So always make your manager or your supervisor aware of any situation that's going on at the workplace, whether it's a comment, an email, a verbal comment, gifts. Let your manager know what's going on. Just set some private time. You don't want to out the person and make them feel embarrassed. And then if things continue to escalate, I have a backbone. I sent a very professional email about my work and professionalism, and I mean, he hasn't said anything since. So sometimes you do have to stand up for yourself a little bit. But you definitely want to make your manager aware of it, make him aware of the situation, let him know that you don't tolerate that kind of behavior in the workplace, regardless of that person's beliefs and women in the industry. And then usually it works itself out. I've never really had a problem where things went past that point because they were always stopped right beforehand, because the manager would realize what was going on. So he would always sit down separately with the people involved. But sometimes I would take it a step further. I'd just send an email, and I would make it very professional for the most part. So, yeah.
Yeah. I've never personally experienced like direct sexism in the workplace. I think though that it's always important to have a voice and to know that you have advocates at the studio. You know, you can always go to your supervisor. If your supervisor doesn't listen, you can go to your supervisor's supervisor.
Yep.
You know, don't put up with crap if someone's giving you crap, you know. You are a valuable person, and I think that if no one at the company is willing to be your advocate, then that's a bad company. I think that you should always, you know, like you were saying, like try and resolve conflicts like professionally. I mean, that goes for any sort of like conflict in the workplace. You want people to respect you, and you want to be positive about things, you know, and if you have the opportunity to change someone's perspective or educate them, you know, hey, these comments are difficult, or they're offensive, you know, but if you can do it in a positive way that can make a positive change, then I encourage that. But, you know, sometimes that doesn't always happen.
Right. So, and especially if you have to collaborate with them, because, I mean, I'm working with someone right now who made quite the comment. But I have to collaborate with them on projects, and that's just how it goes. So you don't really want to just be rude outright, because you know you have to work with these people too. So again, professionalism and trying to get over the fact. I mean, you don't want to dwell on it either. So.
Tough questions, you guys. But they're good questions.
Oh yeah, big hitters.
Okay.
Anyone here? Question.
Anyone over here have anything to ask?
Gretchen, you got a question?
Want me to ask a question?
Yeah, ask a question, Nick.
Alright, I'll ask a question. Alright. So I seem to be coming into a wall that I've noticed that when applying for jobs online, it says you need maybe 1 to 2 years of experience, but I'm just starting out, so where do I get this 1 to 2 years of experience? Besides internships, they want actual industry work, but I haven't been in the industry, so where would you go from there?
Have you had an internship yet?
Yes, I have.
I mean, I would continue to apply for jobs anyways, like even though they say like 1 to 2 years experience, like a lot of people, I feel like a lot of companies put that on there just so because they have to, or they feel like they need to. But you know, if you have a good portfolio and you have like work experience, especially like internship, I cannot like even stress how important it is to like have an internship. And so like if you already had an internship, man, you are in a good spot. You know, I mean, that's like getting an internship and getting your foot in the door is really important. And if, you know, I had somebody say to me that you know, getting your first job is the hardest. And man, that was absolutely true. Because like the first job that I got, man, it took me forever. I applied to a million jobs and it really sucked. And I was spent a long time applying. Like I was jobless for like months. But like after I got that first internship at RealFX, that was super important. Like I made contacts in the industry. I like had like real experience to put on my like resume, even though it wasn't a lot of experience. And then like from there, I was able to like apply to more jobs. And like so like the first time when I applied to like internships, like I got like no responses for like months and months. And like the second time I went out to apply, I got like a few things here and there. Like I got like an email back from a guy in a small company like, yeah, okay, well, you know, if you could send us like some of your portfolio, or I got an email back from another dude that was like, we're really looking at someone who knows motion tracking software, and if you could just do like this test, then to like sort of prove that you are committed to like applying for the job, then we will consider hiring you as contract. Neither of those things ended up working out, but like I got the job at Disney, and it's like every time you get employed, it's like gets a little bit easier. So I'd say just like apply for jobs anyways.
Okay.
And also apply for more internships. Sometimes like companies will accept people for internships even though like they are not really, like they could be full hires or they could be junior level hires.
Right.
Just keep applying.
Okay. Fair enough. Fair enough. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
Also about that, like I've noticed being in Canada, like I meet people from all over the world, and I've noticed that in America it's really, really hard to get like if you want to work in film, I guess it's speaking from me as an animator, like to get a job in film, it feels like you have to be good enough to work at a big company right out of school because there's not a lot of in-between stuff. A lot of television is outsourced. Films for DVD are outsourced. So moving to Canada, I was able to work on the film for DVD as like a like a starting position, and then work on feature films. But in America, it's just so hard because all of that middle stuff is in Canada, and the people that I meet from around the world, it's really simple for them to, like most people, trouble because
No, you're breaking up a little.
Yeah, you just went in the ocean.
I think she's good now.
Uh-oh.
Hello?
Can you hear me?
Oh, we can
Oh,
hear you.
okay, yeah, the screen just froze, but we can hear you right now. Okay.
Oh, did that make sense?
I didn't be able to catch the last part of what you said. I'm sorry.
Saying that like all of the middle stuff, like television and films for DVD, that's all in other countries.
Okay.
And so like a lot of people from other countries, they get experience that way and then move to feature film. Whereas in America, it kind of feels like you just have to be good enough for film right away. So I think, like I mentioned before, it's really easy to get a permit to work in Canada, and then you can go and start at those middle jobs that are in Canada, and then work to feature film.
And from a gaming perspective, a lot of people will just tell you this, and I'll tell you the same thing. Make a game. If you want to get into gaming, make a game. You don't have to make one by yourself. There's a website called IndieDB, like Indie Database, .com, and that's where actually my team finds a lot of people. If we're looking for programmers or animators, and like we're going to be looking for an animator at some point pretty soon for a lot of our characters for our games. So we go to IndieDB and we post, okay, we're looking for someone to help do this or that. That gets your name out there. It gets your name on a game, and it gives you experience. So it's not just about, definitely apply for internships. If it says 1 to 2 years, they're full of crap. Just apply anyways.
Yeah,
because
apply anyway.
They just weed you out. Like that. Really, that's all they're doing. They're just trying to weed people out. I applied for jobs out of college when that were looking for 3 to 4 years of experience. Screw it. If it's something you want to do and you're good at it, what's the worst they're going to say? No. So you apply for more jobs. Don't feel really scared or nervous about applying for work if it's something that you want to do. And it, like I said, worst case scenario, they say no, and you just continue applying for jobs. But in the meantime, if you can make a game or you can make a film or you can do something that gets your name out there, that's the best. Because then you have your name in something. And most of the time they say, we want your name in a AAA title. Well, you know what? You have your name in an indie game, and that could be a very, very popular game on Steam. It's the same thing with like the people that made Portal. They were just students. They worked at DigiPen in Seattle, and then Valve found them and said, "Hey, you made Portal, huh? Come and work for us and make Portal." So, I mean, really, just get a group of people together at school, or go on IndieDB and just start working on stuff.
Okay, fair enough. Fair enough. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah. Like once you relax and you get exposure and you get advice from like people who've been doing it longer than you, oh my God, that's like the best thing you could possibly do. It was like one of the biggest mistakes I made was not like getting more exposure when I was trying to apply for jobs.
Yeah, same here. I really regret it because I'm doing a game now and I'm like, oh man, I should have done this years ago.
Right, like just like show up on like forums. Like if you're having trouble, go to a forum and be like, hey, I can't get this. Can I have some help? Or like, just so you can have like be part of a community of people that where it could possibly later lead to a job. And
go to artist lectures. I'm not even kidding. That was another thing I regret. I did not go to enough. It was because of the artist lectures that I met people like Aaron Halifax and got their viewpoint and learned so much from them. So attend artist lectures and get involved and start networking with people.
Yeah, and go to conventions like CTN or SIGGRAPH or PAX, and meet people. Meet people, yeah.
PAX. Yeah.
Oh man, I wish I was going to PAX.
PAX is awesome. Go to PAX. Just go.
Just go.
Just go.
Penny Arcade Expo.
Another outside question. Someone wanted to know what's the most rewarding part of your job? Your current one. Or any in the past, really. Any jobs.
Just getting to work on my own stuff. Owning projects. Working for a small company, I get to own everything I do. It's a little daunting because it's all on your shoulders, so you can't screw it up. But at the same time, all the art and all the design, I get to own that. So when it's done and it's produced and people are using the things that I've made, it's really cool to see your work being presented and being used every day. It's pretty sweet.
I think the most rewarding part of my job is knowing that I'm working on projects that are really cool. Like my first for realsy thing that I made for the industry was stuff for Frozen, and awesome. Oh my God, that was like every day I wake up and I'd be like, it's time to go to work, guys, and I go to work and I'd learn 100 things that were so cool, and awesome. My mentors were so rad. I learned so much, and the assets that I got to work on were so cool. And one of the things that really inspired me as a teenager was a lot of animated television shows, especially anime. I loved anime, just loved it so much. And I would draw stupid fan art and stuff like that, and I just loved it so much. So my dream was always to work on something that someone else, that would inspire someone else to make art, that maybe those people would make fan art of Frozen or something. And that was Frozen. It was so rewarding to work on a project that was really cool, and that on a team of people that were really creative and really passionate about their job. That is hands down the most rewarding part of my job is that.
I think for me, I would spend a long time in school, 5 years undergrad, a year and a half master's, and half a year animation mentor, and I felt I spent a long time just working on my own stuff, and now I think it's just very rewarding to be a part of something bigger than just myself and just sitting at my computer doing my own thing. I think that's probably my favorite part.
Does anyone have a question here in person? These guys are not exercising their right to ask questions very well.
We want to hear from the shy people.
Shy people, come over here.
Shy people.
I was always the person in these lectures that I don't know if I want to ask anything. I feel I don't know what to say.
There's
Someone
no
in the
such
back
thing as
come
a
up.
stupid question. Unless it's a really stupid question. There's no such thing as a stupid question.
Hi.
Hello.
So right now I was thinking about going into something like character design or storyboard art. I don't know if it would be in film or gaming, although I think it could go with both. I don't know, but what are some jobs that you guys recommend personally for, like, just in general? What sounds most intriguing to you guys?
Do you mean, I don't know, can you be a little more specific? Like what do you mean? Like, do you mean like what's like the best job to apply for, or do you mean like?
Like when you're, like I'm thinking about, you know how storytelling plays a huge part in art-related jobs like the ones you guys are working for?
Sure.
I'm thinking about stuff like that, like whether it be character design, storyboarding, that kind of stuff.
I mean,
Concept art.
you can get into anything like I used to work for an e-learning company, so it's online video learning and motion graphic design, and it was a lot of storyboarding and character art and animation. And I mean, the thing about the industry is that, you know, and I felt I had the same mindset. You think that there's only gaming or only film, but there's so much more than that. You know, there's online video training, there's motion graphic art, and like I said, I mean, I worked for an insurance company where they needed someone to do video game design because they needed an interactive educational game for their employees to get stuff across. So, I mean, you know, being a motion graphic artist would be perfect for storyboarding because it's a lot of what it is. It's storyboarding and animation and character art. And it can be film, it could be gaming. I mean, it really just depends on where you apply. But please, and this is for everybody here, don't limit yourself to just those two industries, because when you start thinking that those are the only two things you have, when you graduate, you're going to feel like there's nothing out there. And so you're going to be limited. But really, there are so many opportunities for you. You just have to look at every possible industry. I mean, even banks. You know, Chase Bank is here, and Wendy's is here, and they look for motion graphic artists. They look for animators and game designers. So keep your mind open.
Yeah. One of my friends works in Columbus for a company that does like computer reenactments for like court cases. So he sort of works for like a law firm, kind of. So he does all these like animated reenactments of like crime scenes or like products that are, I don't know, like in question legally, or I don't know exactly what he does, but like he has a super interesting job and he works with lawyers and engineers, and like it sounds really cool.
It does. Thank you, guys.
Yeah.
I got one from the internet, the World Wide Web. I'd love to hear them compare and contrast their undergrad and graduate experiences.
Oh my god.
Had undergrad, or, yeah, and what they got from each. Yeah.
Well, I didn't go to grad school, so I'm out.
I went to grad school.
Mary.
Oh, just me? Okay. Undergrad and grad. Undergrad was a lot of fun because I got to learn a lot. I was involved in a community, like a really strong community, so the CAC was really strong when I was there. Like, I was sort of the same generation of like Tom Jack and like Jacob Gardner. And they were like the rock stars, you know, of my like year. I was always like, oh, they're so cool. I just want to grow up and be just like them. So undergrad was a lot of learning, and I don't know, a lot of experimenting. And then like when I went to grad school was so hard for me. Oh my God. Like it's like I went into it thinking that it was going to be kind of like college too, but it's this weird, for me it was like this weird in between time between being like an adult because you're like older and you have all these more adult responsibilities, but you're still in school, so you're really broke. And like, I don't know, not like working towards your career, sort of. Like you're working towards your career, but you're not working yet. So it was kind of this weird stage in my life. I think grad school is really good, especially the program I went to. Grad school for me was like, I feel like the purpose at Ohio State was to like make a project. So if you want like time and money to develop like a film or a game, and you want to do it from an academic perspective, like you want to write a paper about it or you want to push some sort of technology, man, that is your jam. Like go to academia. Also, if you want to become a teacher, well, if you want to become a professor, not all schools require you to have a master's degree, but in art, the terminal degree is a master's degree, so like you don't have to get a PhD to teach at the college level. So one of the things that was really, really tough about grad school was I had to like really toughen up and learn how to defend my ideas, and everything that I thought was really valuable about grad school that I learned was like interpersonal communication skills, like how to pitch my ideas, how to, I don't know, ask for help when I needed it, how to write a paper, how to, like I grew as an artist, like I received critique, but like at the same time, like grad school was really like brutal. Like I feel like I learned a lot of those things by not being very good at them, and then having to like struggle and learn it, and it was really hard. I think what was good about undergrad is that I just sort of like I got a really good taste of like what the industry was like, and I was really inspired by a lot of my experiences there. So yeah, that's it.
Where did you go to grad school?
I went to grad school at The Ohio State University.
Woo!
Huh? What program?
What program? It was the DAIM program, DAIM, but it was through ACAD, ACCAD. There's
You gotta ask these kids louder, Floyd.
Say.
These questions.
Oh, sorry, someone was just curious in the room.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Yeah, like SCAD has a grad program. There's a lot of like grad programs out there. I don't know. If you're my biggest advice about grad school is if you're thinking about going to grad school, ask yourself what you really want out of it. If you just want more information or to learn more, then consider like going to, I don't know, like Animation Mentor or Gnomon. Like if you want to just learn like a skill, like I want to learn more about modeling, then find like a class, you know, a program that will just teach you more about modeling. I kind of went to grad school just wanting to learn more, and instead what I got was this very academic experience, and I don't think that was what was right for me. But it helped me get where I was going, so, you know, give or take.
Yeah, for me, the undergrad seemed very like generalist, and then I went to San Francisco, the Art Institute, thinking that it was going to be a pure animation, and I was going to learn more about animation because that's what I always wanted to do. But it was another generalist thing. It was just create your own short film, and so. Like Mary said, if you want to go and, like explore yourself as an artist and make your own film and that type of thing, then it's cool. But for me, I just wanted to be an animator, and it wasn't until I took Animation Mentor where I actually learned the skills that I needed to get a job in VFX.
Yeah.
And I was kind of sad. Like after I finished my master's degree, I had a friend in the industry tell me, "Okay, that's great, but you need to go take Animation Mentor."
Mentor.
And I was like, "What? I just went to school for another year and a half and spent all this money on a master's degree and
Right. Oh, soul crushing. Oh,
yeah,
master's programs are so hard.
industry person was like, "You need to go to Animation Mentor." So,
Oh my god.
and what's funny is my demo reel that I got the job at MTC has none of my undergrad work, none of my graduate work, only Animation Mentor work.
Yeah. Also, you should know that like there's other classes out there for other things. So like I know Gnomon has a lot of like kind of stuff Gnomon has is like painting. Like they have a lot of shading stuff, right?
This is women only. Get into this.
This is Josh. Josh is also a BGSU alumni. He graduated with me in 2007 and also graduated from The Ohio State University in 2010. And he also works at Disney. He is a lighter.
Hi, Josh.
They said hi. Yeah, so like I know there's like Rigging Dojo if you want to learn rigging, and Gnomon has a lot of good stuff. There's a school here, actually Josh goes to it, called CDA. It's the Concept Design Academy, and their like thing is like all about concept art drawing. Like there's so many like industry people that like work in the industry that also teach there. So like if you have like a passion for a thing and you want to learn more about that thing, then my suggestion is to like seek out some of these specific, I don't know, things to educate yourselves.
I think you're good, Savannah.
All right. I think we already answered my question in that last one, but I'll ask it anyway, and I think it'll just repeat into what's already been said. But oh, that's weird. I'm on the screen. So I'm a junior, and I'm worried about how if my art isn't going to be at the level I want it to be from what I'm learning here. Like I feel like there are gaps in my education so far. Like what are my resources that I can take advantage of to like fill those gaps so that I can feel more confident with the portfolio that I will be producing to hopefully get me a job.
What is your field, or what is it that you want to do?
Right now, I'm thinking modeling and 3D sculpting.
Have you heard of Life Formations? Life Formations? It's a company in Bowling Green. It's a sculpture company.
Oh yeah,
Anyone heard of Life Formations?
I've heard of it.
I've heard of that before.
It's right in Bowling Green, and they actually do like sculpts, and they do like animatronic figures, and you look them up online. It's really cool. I actually worked there for a summer when I was at Bowling Green, and so that's like one way to learn like the traditional side of modeling and like sculpting. You could like look into maybe working there, or just an idea.
Yeah, get industry experience where you can. That's a big thing. And another big thing to it, because I did this a lot, and I mean every artist kind of does. Try not to compare yourself to people that have been in the industry for 15 years that have these amazing concept art pieces, and then think, oh, I can never get into this field because my stuff will never match up to theirs. Like, when you graduate and you get out into the field, you're still going to be new. Even with your 4 years of experience at Bowling Green and then whatever else you've done in the past, if you have, just try to work towards it and just, I mean, it's an everyday thing. I mean, if you wake up in the morning and you think about art, you're an artist. Don't say, I hope to be an artist one day. That's what you are. If that's what you think about when you get up in the morning, like that's your passion, that's what you do. So don't put yourself at a level below where you think, you know, all these other artists are so amazing. Apply for jobs and like what was said earlier. I mean, get something that's related to your field. Go work for a sculpting place. Go work for just doing some basic 3D stuff and get your portfolio up to par, because you're going to learn more on your own, and you're going to learn more on forums, and you're going to learn more from other people than you will solely in school.
Right, yeah. Join like Polycount or ZBrush Central, you know, get on like, join those communities, be part of them, and
right.
Especially for modeling, yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of
all kinds of like, yeah, there's all kinds of like modeling challenges on Polycount. You know, where you can like be, you know, join a contest and like get exposure and that sort of thing, or advice, and get critique too. If you can like apply for a job or like, you know, go to a convention where you can show somebody your portfolio, then they'll tell you like, you know, okay, well, this is really good, but you know, we really need, you know, our junior, we expect like this and that from our junior level applicants, you know, or you can ask them. You can be like, you know, if I want to work for your company, what kind of skills do I need to be part of it? You can always email people too.
Oh yeah. Don't be afraid to work with people. Really, they'll give you the best advice. I mean, you're asking them for their opinion and what they've done and how they got to where they were. So don't be afraid to network with people who are in the industry and really get a chance to up your level of art, I guess.
Yeah. I like learning as a lifelong experience, you know. Don't be afraid to take classes even after you get in the industry. It's like,
right.
I don't know. It's just always good to have multiple skills.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So kind of following up with what you just said, Emily would like to know, how do you get over the fear of approaching people with your independent work, like with a game or a project you worked on yourself, and what's the best way to finally break into being able to network with other people?
Network tips.
Yeah.
Man,
well, Mary just said it. Go to cons. I mean, it's hard when you have to show your stuff because judgment is such a big thing. And I mean, that's the one thing that you know is going to happen when someone looks at your portfolios. They're going to judge your work. But be confident in yourself. I mean, I know that's easier said than done, but you know, if you're working hard on your pieces and you feel strongly about them, I feel like, especially if it's something you're passionate about, like the game that I'm working on, I really want to network with people to say, hey, look, there's this cool game we're working on. We're going to release it through Steam. So we do podcasts and we do weekly updates on Facebook to our page because we want people to get interested, and we share it and we say, hey, you know, if I'm out and I meet somebody, I don't know, at GameStop or a convention or something, I'll network with that person and say, oh, yeah, I like survival horror too. Hey, I'm making a game. Check it out. So you just, it does take a little bit of a backbone, but don't be afraid to show your stuff. I mean, you're an artist, and most people that you're networking with are artists too, and they've had to be at that spot in their life too. So, you know, they understand.
Yeah. I think a really important part of it is separating, like, that they're judging you versus they're judging your art, or they're critiquing you versus they're critiquing your art. They're not,
right.
They're not gonna, like, you know, crap on you. If they do, well, that's ridiculous.
Right.
But what they'll do is they'll give you some good advice, and you know, usually when you're first starting out too, like, in industry, people like have been there, they know what it's like, and if you're like excited about your work and you're like interested, man, that's like so refreshing. Like, industry people love hearing about like independent projects, especially things that people are passionate about. And you know, the thing about critique is that it can only make your work better. So if you can look at your own art, or you can have somebody look at your art and then they say like this and this, you know, then you can break it down into sort of small, like, digestible chunks, and then like work towards like making small things better, then that is like one way to like, I don't know, it always helps me like lessen my anxiety about like seeing my work and being like, how do I improve this? It's like break it down into small digestible chunks, like, well, the form of this model or object isn't very good, so I'll spend some time sculpting it and then reassess. Or like it's the color that's not working, so let's like do some adjustments on the color and then reassess. So a lot of it is not saying like it sucks, but like saying like how do I improve it?
Right, and be flexible. That's a big thing too. If you're so set in your ways with your design and your art, I mean, to be honest, chances are very slim that you're going to get a job when you graduate because they want you to be flexible. Companies want you to be able to adapt to whatever their style is because you're making a majority of this stuff for clients. Whether it's independent or not, your work is going to a client and they have certain expectations from you. So be flexible and be willing to change your art style and be willing to just be a little bit more open-minded about your stuff because you could learn so much more just by being a little bit more open-minded.
Yeah.
We got someone. They're coming.
Hi. Alright, so I have a couple questions. First one is how much value or stock would you put into not 100% digital or animation things in your portfolio? Like I have a lot of stop motion pieces that I would like to put in my portfolio, but I don't know how much, I don't know really what I want to do, but how much stock would you put into things that are not necessarily completely digital?
So you don't know what kind of like specialty you're interested in?
Yeah, I'm kind of, I do video art, I do animation, I do photography. I'm kind of all over the place.
Sort of a tricky question. I don't know.
I mean, it like I said, I guess that's just dependent on where you're applying. Like I said, if you have an online website with your portfolio, you can section it off into the pieces of media that you do. But I mean, it's just, especially if you don't know what your specialty is yet, because you're just kind of all over the place and you're trying to decide what you're really, what you really want to get into. Like I said, put your strongest pieces first. It's okay to have mixed media, and most jobs, things that are online, or I'm sorry, things that are on the computer can be learned. Your basic traditional art, your color theory, your composition, those are things you have to know. So regardless of what you get into, whether it's at Pixar or DreamWorks, they want to make sure you know how to paint and draw. They want to know that you know color theory and composition and shading and lighting. They want to know, they want you to know that, like, hold on, I'm trying to piece this out, I guess. So, like, you have to have all of these different things, right? All of these basic traditional pieces of art. So when you're putting mixed media into your portfolio, it's okay. Like, I don't think that you have to take certain stock or certain percentage into what's digital versus what's traditional. They want to make sure you know the basic concepts of each thing. So if you're putting in photography, obviously lighting and composition are going to be key elements in photography, right? So those are things you want to focus on. Those are pieces you want to put in there. Those could also take into account for digital programs and digital companies like Pixar. Oh, this person knows how to do photography? Fantastic. They would be good at this. So don't think that if you're applying for a digital job that all they want to see is digital. They may also want to see traditional.
Yeah, like what you were saying, like knowing the concepts of is really important, or knowing foundational things. If what you're making is good, then that's what counts. Like when Josh applied, he's a lighter, and one of the things that he had on his student demo reel was we took a class in grad school where we actually did practical lighting. It was a collaborative class with the theater department, and so he had some things that were actually like sort of like a still life that was lit with like theater lights. And that was like one of the things that they really liked seeing because it demonstrated that idea of practical lighting knowledge, like the idea that like light comes in at this direction and then like make it more appealing, you use a bounce light or like color and composition and that whole thing. You know, and also like if you don't know what you want to do, like let your sort of like knowledge set like guide maybe like where you want to apply like I really like cloth, and so one of the things that I always did was sewing, and then like later on in my career I sort of like sewing and digital, oh my god, that can go together into like my current profession, and I make cloth rigs. Like Josh always liked like he was always really good at color. I'm crap at color. Like it's like not one of my strong suits at all. But like I was always like good at like figuring out how to sort of like piece things together. That's kind of what rigging is.
Thank you.
Anyone else have any questions over here?
We get a question.
This is actually my question this time. So I think someone before mentioned, and the first job that you get is probably the hardest one to find. So is there anything that, like, for you guys individually specifically stood out and helped you get your foot in the door in that situation?
Somebody else go. I've talked a lot.
I know I have to. Go ahead, Carly.
So for me, my first job as an animator, so I was first contacted by MPC in Vancouver, and they said, "Oh, we really like your work, but can you get your own permit?" And I was like, "No, like, how am I supposed to get my own permit? You want me to marry a Canadian or something?" And so, of course, when I said no, I never heard from it again. So it kind of stuck in my mind. I'm like, what was she talking about? Get my own permit. And so I kept researching, and I finally thought that I had figured a way to do it. And so I found this company that was working on a film for DVD, and they had written on the post for Canadian residents only. And I just thought, well, you know, I'll give this a try. So I just emailed and I said, I'm not a Canadian resident, but I can get my own permit. And she was like, oh, really? Okay. And so I was like, I just need you to write me this letter. And it's just like a really simple one-page letter. She wrote for me, and then I just went to the border, got the permit, and I was in Montreal like a week later. And I was like, wow, it really worked. And so after the working on the film for DVD, I was already in Montreal, and I applied to MPC again, this time because they were starting up a new studio in Montreal. They had one in Vancouver. And so I contacted MPC, and I said, hey, I can get my own permit. And then I got a job, so it's kind of like when I was talking earlier about the whole Canada thing, like sometimes you just have to, you know, like take a middle job, you know, first in order to, it's all timing and luck. And
oh man, that is so true.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, when I got my first job, oh my god, I had been really persistent at talking to DreamWorks throughout school, and I was trying to line up this internship program, and I was really persistent, and I kept calling them back, and I said, like, I really want to be part of this internship. It was like this perfect internship, you know. It was all about cloth sim, and I kept calling them back, and I interviewed, and I was also lucky enough to like score an interview with Pixar, and I totally blew both of them. Like, I really, really wanted this job with Pixar, and oh man, it was so tough. But because I had known the recruiter through grad school. Like the recruiter had visited our grad school, and I was like following up with them, trying to get this internship. And I can't even count like the number of times that I applied to Pixar. I think I've applied to Pixar like 15 or 20 times. It's ridiculous. But what finally like did it for me was I was living in Dallas. Josh had gotten a job at RealFX, and he's like, yeah, well, Mary's here too, and I was like, dude, can you just like pass my name along to the recruiter? And he's like, sure. So Josh gave the recruiter my name, and she was like, actually, we have an opening right now, and so since you already live here, why don't you come in and like interview? And I went in and interviewed, and it was kind of a goofy interview, but they hired me, and that was what was really did it for me, was having this like personal connection, and the fact that I was already there and like jobless. I was like, hey, I'm here, I live down the street, can I come hang out? And they're like, okay. So and it turned out to be a really good internship. I learned a lot, and I had like the best mentors. Those guys taught me so much. Just learned so quickly. But yeah, it's having that connection with someone, or like being close to the area. I know like 2 or 3 people that have kind of have really similar stories. They just like showed up in California with no job, like took this huge risk and crashed on someone's couch, and then like showed up at companies or like went to a job fair and like, hey, I live in the area, are there jobs?
Yeah.
And I don't know.
Yeah, that's how I got my job at Microsoft. Like, it was through a connection through at the time my fiance, his friend worked at Nintendo, and he goes, oh yeah, well I'm doing this thing with Microsoft. Come out and apply for jobs there. So I actually applied and interviewed for Nintendo and Microsoft. And I ended up going out there for a week for vacation with a friend where I interviewed. And then they called me back and they're like, oh, can you start next week? So I packed my suitcase and found someone who was subleasing their apartment, and I lived out of my suitcase and slept on a blow-up mattress for 3 months, and then...
Oh man, same.
Yeah, and then I started, and then when I found a place to actually live on my own, it was fantastic. But, yeah, honestly, I feel like if I hadn't been working there and I hadn't done motion graphic art or game testing, I wouldn't be where I am now. It gave me the big foot in the door that I needed to get jobs back in Columbus, even, because that was a big resume booster. Yeah.
Yeah, working at RealFX was so important to my career. Oh my gosh, I would have not been able to get the internship at Disney, I don't think, if I hadn't had that on my resume.
You have to have a base. You can't just like, you can't. Of course you can. You can apply for anything when you graduate. You can apply for an animator position or whatever, but sometimes it helps just to start learning the publishing side of it, or for gaming, the publishing side of it, not just developing. So learning how to game test, learning how to design training videos for game testers, which is what I did. Learning how to do some of the basic stuff, being a render person. I mean, all that stuff helps. It really, really does. It gets you into the door.
Yeah. Yeah, one of the guys that actually graduated from BG that I met out here after I moved out here, like, he started as an intern at the mill, and he started in this position called a runner, and it's this crazy thing. It's so interesting. You are like an intern, and you like get people coffee, you like go get like food orders, you wash dishes, you like, you know, usher clients around. But then when like the studio gets really, really busy, you like sit at a computer and you like do stuff. And they purposely hire interns that like went to school for animation and CG training, and so it's this like weird halfway position where like if you can kind of prove yourself, then you get hired. And so like that was his story, like getting in the door. Which I don't know, I always thought that was such a crazy way to go in, but like
that's pretty cool.
Yeah, right. I was like, oh my god, why don't all companies do this? It's so smart.
At MPC, there's a lighting and compositing class. They take students, and then if you do well, they'll hire you on as a lighter or compositor.
Oh, yeah, apply for the Disney internships too.
Okay, thank you guys.
I can do one.
Yeah, you can do one.
All right, so I have a question for Carly. You say you did animation mentors, correct?
Yes.
How was that?
It was amazing.
You really enjoyed it? Because I was thinking about going into that after school itself.
Well, yeah, so at Bowling Green, I felt like we kind of learned everything. It was a little too much for me because I knew I wanted to animate.
Right.
And so I actually, after Bowling Green, I had a decision: either go to California and get my master's degree, it was a year and a half, or go to Animation Mentor.
Okay.
But at that time, Animation Mentor was kind of still young, and I was like, well, it'd be more fun to go to California and like meet people and actually be there. And then so when I went to get my master's, that year and a half was another generalist thing because we had to make our own short. And so I only spent like a month animating out of the year and a half I was there. And I was like, wow, I just wasted all that time again. And so then, so after that, when my friend in the industry said to go to the Animation Mentor, I was like, are you kidding me? Like, more school? But like, I kind of knew in the back of my mind that's what I needed to do. But since Animation Mentor was a year and a half, I was like, that's a long time to go again. And then at that time, they were just coming out with the Animals and Creatures class, which was only 6 months. And I was like, okay, well, maybe I can just do the animal stuff. And I did that for 6 months, and I loved it. I always thought I'd want to do more cartoony stuff, but when I did the animals, it was, like, amazing. And only 6 months, you learn exactly what you do on the job as a VFX animator. Like, what I'm doing now is exactly what I learned at Animation Mentor. I use every single skill. I use the whole process. It's exactly what I do. Like, I mean, I say I wish I would have done that a long time ago, but, I mean, it helps to know kind of like a generalist. But I use some of my skills, too. Like, it's kind of handy, but, gosh, that's just exactly, Animation Mentor is exactly what I needed to know for my current job. So if you're interested in VFX animation, I would say definitely do the animals. Class.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you.
Cool. Yeah, we got one question. Nick, Hunter says he'll teach you for half the cost, but you get no licks.
Hi. Hi. Okay, my question is, you guys were talking a little bit about interviews. So what kind of questions do you get in an interview for like a professional job? Because we've only worked at like McDonald's or, you know, what kind of questions do you get asked?
I guess it just depends on what you're going into. A lot of times you'll get a design test or you'll get some kind of thing that tests your skills. So for e-learning, I got animation, like just a quick, okay, do this thing, this animated thing. For UX, I had to do some programming. But when you're actually sitting down face-to-face with a panel of people, a lot of times they'll just go through your portfolio piece by piece, and they'll say, okay, show us some examples of UX design. What have you done? How has it helped your employer? How has it helped your clients? So they'll go through your portfolio, and then a lot of times you'll get the basic personal questions. Tell us a bit about yourself. That kind of thing, like why are you passionate about art? What really, what are you interested in? Why are you interested in this specific thing? What do you want to do with this company? Because they want to know that you're willing to create value for their company. They want their company to grow, so they want to make sure that you're willing to be flexible and adaptable and optimistic. And so they always look for key terms, and those are some key terms is flexibility. Because as an artist, like I said earlier, a lot of people expect you to be one certain way, but you have to be willing to change your art style consistently. So you get those questions a lot.
Yeah, I mean, I think my advice for interviews is be truthful, be upbeat, be positive, and like try and connect with people like personally. I remember like, if you haven't watched it, like Tom Jeck did this video. It was this really amazing video about like
oh yeah,
being
be vulnerable.
in the industry. Be vulnerable. Oh man, that is so true. Like
yeah.
Man, go watch that video because I really wish I could have like seen something like that when I was first starting out. If you can put yourself out there, it's something that people really connect with and pick up on. And then my other advice is that there's actually some websites out there that you can check out. I think there's one that's called
Glassdoor.
Yeah, where people will go and like put their experiences with companies, but they also like will write sort of testimonials about what it was like to interview with that company. And so like if you get an interview, like check out that website and see if someone else has like sort of put some advice about like what they're looking for and what they'll ask. God, there's so many more resources out there now for stuff like this. It's great.
And sometimes they put a salary range, which is really nice because then you can kind of get an idea of what you'd be making.
Right, yeah.
For me, they asked a lot about my process, like how I approached animation. Because that was really important for their like pipeline, I guess. Do I use video reference? Because like VFX is very lifelike, realistic. Do I use reference? Do I use step keys or linear or and like how would I approach a shot? But like with the animation mentor, I felt like very well prepared. So just to talk about like how I would do it at the job.
All right. Thank you.
Sure.
I think things are starting to wind down a little bit over here.
Okay.
How's the weather? It's cold here.
Sunny.
Okay.
Cold.
Okay.
I'm in Ohio too. It's cold.
Oh, Columbus is not as cold. I was there this weekend.
Yeah. I'm actually heading up to BG Toledo on Friday, so.
The Poly Eyes.
Oh, missed that.
Oh man, Poly Eyes.
Missed that so much.
Oh. I'm sorry. I'm like drooling right now. I might go get Poly Eyes. You know what? I need to see that new art building. I haven't seen that either.
It's really cool.
Is it?
It looks like a giant projector.
It's not a projector.
A sinking Titanic. There's big gradients inside.
You can sled.
Really?
Yeah. They paid someone like $10,000 to put up a gradient. I don't know. It's art.
It's great.
So did they get rid of the round, whatever that round building was? Offenhauer?
Saddlemeyer.
Saddlemeyer.
Yeah.
Saddlemeyer.
Saddlemeyer? That's a really stupid name.
It's kind of a stupid.
Yeah. Yeah, it was weird.
That's gone. That's gone. Eugen's different. Probably.
Whoa. Cool. Well, it lasted a pretty long time. It was like 2 hours. It's usually about how it goes.
Are there any like fun questions? Like, I don't know, random ones?
Fun questions? Fun. What's the most embarrassing thing that you've done while working in the industry?
Most embarrassing.
Most embarrassing thing.
Yeah, this is recorded.
This is recorded.
Well,
Or the funniest bug that you ran into on something.
Funniest.
the funniest what?
Bug, malfunction.
Oh.
technical
Oh.
thing.
Okay, I guess I could tell this one. So when when we were doing Fable 3 testing, we had to take our characters around, and when you're testing, you can go to any level with any character, any weapon, that kind of thing. We had to take our characters around the village, and like there was this one NPC who looked at you and then looked at the kiosk like some fruit or vegetable stand, and his head slammed down on the table and his whole body lifted up.
It's like being possessed or something.
Yeah, oh, it was fantastic. We were all recording it, and I think you heard like all 300 people just laughing. I still remember that, because then someone screen capped it and said somebody has a case of the Mondays, and like that was everybody's printed thing that they put in their cube, because it was just funny. It was unexpected.
Oh man, cloth simulation is like ripe for comedy, because so many things can go so wrong. Like oh, I forgot to constrain the pants, so so cloth simulation, what you do is you set up your character, you like very tediously like adjust your settings. You're like, okay, I'm gonna think really hard about this. I'm gonna make a really good educated guess as to how this character is gonna sim, and then you send it off and it simulates for like an hour or two, and then you get your renders back and you're like, yes, I hope this worked. And then you forgot to attach the pants to the body, and then the pants fall off while they're walking, or the shirt's too stretchy and and the shirt falls off, or they lift their arms off and the shirt flies away, just like stuff like that happens like all the time. Just like it's like so hilarious when you just like expect to get this really great thing back and it's just terrible.
So do those end up in your the deleted scenes? Yeah, like the.
I don't know. I mean, they end up in people's folders because they're funny. I don't think they always make it to the to anything public.
Right.
Oh,
Wow.
there's everyone.
Look at the setup. Okay.
It's a tour.
It's one of the.
There's people here. They're just sitting by computers. This is the PC lab.
Wow. Okay.
We're not
So
mobile.
This is the cable lab. So
Mobile.
is there a Mac? Is there a Mac lab too?
Yeah.
There's two of them.
And we got a video lab as well.
Oh wow.
What's the breakdown of students at the lecture right now? Are you guys mostly seniors or like?
Well, I think it's a pretty good mix. We had some freshmen, but I don't know where they went.
Probably home to sleep because they don't realize how important it's going to be in the next year or two when they're like, oh crap, you mean I have to stay up all night and work?
You mean I can't sleep till graduation?
You know what though? You guys, it seems like your computer chairs aren't good for sleeping, because I used to put two computer chairs together and
They took our
lay
couch.
down. Are they?
It's in Bonnie's room now.
Oh, well, go steal them. She don't need them.
It's a fire hazard, apparently.
Someone lit a couch on fire by accident. We're not allowed to have it anymore.
I remember that.
It was Mary.
Oh, when the couch is caught on fire. Oh my gosh, I remember that.
That's that reason that we can't have a couch.
Sorry.
Somebody lit the couch on fire. Of course,
used to
someone
have a-
would light a couch on fire.
We used to have the render tent. Remember that?
Oh yeah, Zach set that up.
Your tent?
What?
Is this like a...
It was like one of the
It was
guys
a
had
tent.
like a tent, and he brought it in and put a cot in it, so that when it was always showed up during finals week.
Yep.
And so that while you're rendering, you could go take a nap.
There's a blanket and a pillow back there on top of the cabinet. You can probably see it.
Sterling would not be happy if you said that. But Yeah, now we just render and sleep underneath the table.
Yeah, we just sleep on the floor.
I remember working there till like, well, I mean all night, but it was always around 4 a.m. I would go to Tim Hortons and buy donuts for people in the lab, and Tom would get up around, like Tom Jack would get up around 4 or 4:30, and he would just have like a dance party in the front of the room. And that was like the best thing. That was the highlight of my night. I'm like, when's Tom gonna go up and dance? Like, that was so fun. That was awesome. Oh, to be in college again. I do miss it.
I remember one night I stayed so late at the lab, and it was like there had been like an ice storm that day. It was like in the nth hour, like just like, you know, I was so drained from being there all night, and like I go out to go to my car, and the door on my car had frozen shut. And like, you know, sometimes that happens and you just pull on it really hard, but I had like a 2-door car, and I literally like felt that I was gonna like rip the handle off of my car. So like it was completely frozen shut, just like there was no chance of me opening it. So I just like went back in. Both doors completely frozen shut. I was just like, oh my god, I'm so done with everything right now.
Yeah, we're actually having Tom Jack and Hunter Grant do a talk at the end of March, so we're flying them both out here.
Oh, I just love them so much.
It's gonna be a party. Well, we should see it, so you can watch it.
Yeah.
Tom's so
It'll be
fabulous.
I have to. That's awesome.
They told me to plug it.
Okay, I'll watch that.
Yeah, I'll try to watch it. That's pretty sweet.
Okay. I think everyone's falling asleep. No, I'm just kidding. We're awake. I want to go.
Oh, that's the one thing about being out of college. My bedtime is like 11 o'clock, 10:30,
Oh my
11.
god. Sleep is like the best thing in the world.
I love sleep. I missed it so much when I was in college. I was
Oh
like,
my god.
as soon as I graduated, I was like, fuck this. I'm sleeping for the next 24 hours. I'm out.
Man. 8 hours every night.
8 every night.
And like, oh man, and no homework. That's like the
No
best
homework.
part of working.
I gotta do
No
particles
homework.
all night because I
I'm
procrastinate.
sorry, guys. We're not trying to rub it in your face. We're trying to get you excited for graduation because that's what you get to look forward to.
You rubbed it in.
Yeah, there you go.
All over the face.
Well, thank you guys so much for doing this panel with us.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank
Appreciate
you for
it.
organizing it. It was really cool to like do this.
Yeah.
Our nice lab, one of them.
Yeah.
Yeah, and if you guys have any questions about like resumes and stuff, let me know because I gave a lecture there a couple of years ago about what it was like working at Microsoft and like game testing and stuff, and I'm always willing to look at resumes and stuff like that, or if you guys have any questions about getting into the gaming industry, because it's pretty difficult, but there are some ways you can get in, so if you have any questions or anything, just don't hesitate to shoot me an email. I'm cool with that.
Awesome.
Yeah, same.
Some rules of approvals on that. Oh, awesome.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks so
Have a
much.
good
All right.
Yeah.
See you guys.
Thank you.
Happy Monday.
Bye.
Yeah. See ya.
Bye.